Less than 2 weeks ago, Australian authorities moved fast to clamp down. Curfews imposed, beaches, streets, stores emptied in the city of Adelaide. Everyone ordered to lock down at home. And all this after 9 people tested positive. Just 9.
It makes sense, doesn't it? You know what I mean? We don't want to end up like other parts of the world.
Australia has been extremely serious about its lockdowns. When the second wave hit in the summer, authorities didn't pause. Nearly every business in Melbourne was forced to close. There are limits on how many people can return to the country, and when they do, mandatory quarantine hotels guarded by soldiers. Police checkpoints to ensure no one was ever more than 25 kilometers from home, and $1,300 fines readily handed out to the rule breakers. Politicians didn't mess around.
They're not rules that are against you, they are rules for you. Your safety, your job, your community, your family, your state.
There is no second chance to stop a second wave.
You're there in Australia, I'm here in Canada. What's the big difference?
Well, we're doing much better. That's the obvious difference. It's one of the few places in the world that's actually managed to suppress a real second wave. And that was because we had one of the world's longest lockdowns.
Canadian Dr. Nancy Baxter moved to Melbourne just before COVID closed nearly everything. She heads the University of Melbourne School of Population and Global Health.
Are you in a cabin?
I am in a cabin. Yeah, it's a good question. So I was in the United States on an assignment. And as you know, when you return to Canada, you have to do 2 weeks of quarantine, which I am doing in a cabin in the woods, very alone. So you and I might talk for 9 hours just for my companionship, right? Jokes aside, Dr. Baxter has family in Canada.
Hi, Mom. How are you?
And she's worried about home.
Hearing what's happened in Ontario, it's pretty shocking. So they just kind of have changed the policy to just basically admit defeat and say they're going to let the epidemic just run wild in Ontario.
But do you think, I mean, that's a pretty big thing to say. You know, politically, it's hard to try to shut down your entire economy. That's cost jobs in Australia. It's cost jobs here in Canada. What has been the priority in Australia?
You can't have a well-functioning economy with a raging pandemic. It's not an economy versus lives.
Today, some 16,200 retail stores, 5,800 cafes and restaurants, and about 1,000 beauty salons and 800 pubs can reopen their doors.
After 3 months of a second lockdown, Melbourne is emerging gradually. Restaurants reopening, stores too, and COVID cases, remarkably, they're at or near zero nationwide. But 1 million jobs have been lost, thousands of businesses too.
I think clearly we've done better, and we've gone about it the right way, going for the aggressive suppression to zero. But on the other hand, I don't own a bar that's gone under.
Jason Dutton is another Canadian living in Melbourne, glad to be back outdoors again, albeit wearing a mask. As he says, everyone did for months, no questions asked.
When the government came out, they mandated masks the first week of August, and there was about 20 seconds of complaining. And then everybody emerged with like a mask that matched their shirt.
And Jason says there isn't much appetite for political waffling over what measures to take or how quickly, when his state saw growth 5 times less than where many Canadian provinces are now. Politicians simply locked everything down. There has been this kind of push-pull in Canada between locking down to control the virus and still allowing the economy to exist, to thrive as much as possible. And that's meant that there hasn't necessarily been a public push to drive COVID numbers to zero, just to get them to a manageable level. What's the message been in Australia?
The unofficial policy, which has clearly been followed, has been elimination. Because Australia is unique in that we can really control who comes in and out of the country.
Australia certainly has geographic advantages, but those alone don't explain how it is now one of the few countries in the world, and one with many similarities to Canada, to virtually eliminate COVID through nearly draconian measures. David Common, CBC News, Plevna, Ontario.